Hello everyone, my name is Mariusz and I work in Ocado Krakow as a product manager. Thank you all for being here with me, especially like Pavel said, after 3 years of being at home, hidden behind the slide decks. So let me tell you my story. I've been working in one company for 10 years, and it was actually last year when I decided to change something in my life. So imagine my surprise when I entered some portal with the job offers, and I found all of this project kind of roles. And if I started digging deeper into the description, I was even more puzzled. But so in the same time, speaking about memes, my wife was motivating me, sending me, knowing my special sense of humor, she was sending me this kind of messages, making my choices even more complicated. But I said, okay, let's go through it. Actually, I had a plan. I know what I want to complete. So I went through it. It was super time-consuming exercise. But when I heard about this meetup, I said, maybe my experience is something that for some of you will be valuable and you find it useful. So when I was looking at those jobs, I was using these 3 terms, and I think we have to agree on them at the beginning. So term number 1 is a craft, because I will be using this term very, very often. So it's basically a kind of occupation that requiring some certain skills. What is job? It's my private definition. It's one of the valuable crafts that is described and managed by the organization. And well, this value is somehow materialized by the salary paid or invoice acceptance. And there is also role, for example, role in Scrum, role in process, that someone or actually anyone can perform. And I'll be using these 3 terms moving forward. So I have 4 building blocks for you guys. Block number 1 is project management, product ownership, which actually behind that I have Agile project management chapter. Product management here in the context of Ocado, I'll be talking about that because I think product people who doesn't work in Ocado might find it useful. And at the end, when I was doing this presentation, I was thinking maybe you will be interested in what I'm actually doing as a product manager at Ocado, because I'm in charge of machine learning services team. So, starting from legendary Waterfall, what we can say about projects, every project has classically 3 phases. There is a preparation phase, execution phase, and maintenance phase. Those phases are divided with the 2 key milestones. Milestone number 1 is when the company decides go, no go, shall we invest money or not? And second milestone is a success celebration, because all the projects usually finish with success, right? And this is also a very important moment, because whatever was the output of the project will be given to the maintain organization or to the team who will have to live with that. Yeah? Now, but why it's like that? And in my opinion, the answer is we can find in the financial books, because in finance we differentiate, we have 2 types of costs. One is operational cost, and second one is capitalization cost. Operational cost is something that we generated this year, and output of that company can profit the same year. Capitalization cost is something that that is going through the in English once again, depreciation. Depreciation in Polish means amortyzacja. And this is very important for the company, right? Because someone has to accept this cost. So if you are a finance department, you have to ensure at this moment, what is important at this moment? So you have to know the guy who will be in charge of this money, right? You have to know how the money will be invested, and you have to know the time. And this lucky gentleman is our project manager, who is accountable for completing the project. So we can ask ourselves, can we have a product as a result of this process? Well, the question is, why not? When I was a project manager, I was always trying to be involved here, very much. Why? Because I wanted to understand what kind of problem I'm solving, right? So not only what was written in the requirement book, but what kind of problems we are trying to solve here. Similarly, in this place, I was always trying to involve those people as soon as possible, so they know we can make some agreement, something that was not completed here, because we will never complete everything, could be done in the second phase. Yeah? So once again, project manager responsible for getting the project goal in time and in budget. Now, speaking project management, we have also programs, because at the beginning of this phase, when you have all of this requirement, you may end up in the situation that actually you won't be able to deliver what was described there with one team, but you will need several teams. So classically in this situation, several teams means several project managers, and you also will need a guy who is a program manager responsible for completing the whole program. Know the goal once again, in time and in budget. Now, let's stop for a second. I was talking about what kind of crafts we can have in such a setup. Can we expect here a product management craft in such a delivery, in the company organized with such a strong financial objectives? The answer is actually no, because the craft that you will find here will be project management. So you can find the roles like project manager, senior project manager, and program manager. So the guy who is in charge of the bigger chunk of money. Now, so the company with such a strong financial objective is going through the transformation now. So they understand that writing the requirement upfront doesn't work. Actually, we are spending money, but we are not receiving what is expected. So what is changing here? The beginning is exactly the same. So we have this preparation when the requirements are different, but these requirements will be written probably in a slightly different way. Yeah? So you will not have exactly what has to be delivered. If the company was well prepared to this transformation process, you may even find out what kind of business problem is to be solved. And the most important thing is that you have the learning phase in the execution part of the project delivery. Now, since the requirements collection process is somehow pushed back to the delivery, you need a guy or person from business side who will be basically deciding what to do and what not. Why it's like that? Because what you can be sure at the end that you will not deliver everything. So there has to be someone again in charge defining what we are doing now and what we will not be doing, which is more important. Once again, so the sub-product manager is here responsible for approving project increments and very often also in charge of project backlog admin work. Now, there is also in Agile project management, there is also answer for how to manage programs in Agile way. Pretty well adopted, especially in the US company, Scaled Agile framework. And I brought this topic for you because in this specific framework, there is a role in the process described as product manager. So when I was in charge of such a program in the role of product manager, I was basically responsible for the backlog of the program. So there was a list of feature, and this is also according to the SAFe framework, there's a list of feature that someone has to prioritize, and that was my responsibility. Then this feature was being taken by all of these teams individually. And product owner behind all of this team was again prioritizing certain specific of this feature and being in charge of actually prioritizing the backlog on the team level. Moving on, we finally reached the product management craft. Now I want to say the word craft, and I would like to demonstrate you what do I mean by craft, taking Ocado as an example. So, but before we do it, I believe product management has to be described in the context. So I see here people that doesn't work at Ocado. So maybe it's worth to explain what we are doing here. So classically, when you do some online grocery shopping, you by actually be requesting this order into the store that is designed to do the shopping by human beings. Yeah? So there is someone who will go to the shop, collect your shopping list, put it to the back, to the truck, and then the truck driver will deliver your shopping list to the customer home. How it looks at Ocado, it looks slightly different because our warehouses are optimized for robots. What do I mean, warehouse being optimized by robot? Is basically this situation where all of the small bots, how we call them, are collecting your shopping list. They can do it much faster. They can do more orders per week, much more orders. We're talking about numbers like 50,000 a week. And as you can see, there's a huge potential for automation, for robotics. Now, but what is behind that? So behind that, in Ocado, we run a massive number of microservices on AWS side, and we are also managing our data on GCP. So we have a multi-cloud architecture, and all of this, what you have seen in this picture, is divided into the products. And I think it's also important to mention that we have, on all levels at Ocado Technology, we have a product and engineering partnership. So these two crafts are equally responsible for overall success of the product. So you can see that it starts from the beginning. So here basically I am with my engineering team lead, and on every level in the organization we have a corresponding roles responsible either for product or engineering. Since it's a craft, why it's important that that product management is a craft? Because it's a craft, you can have some career around product management. I don't plan to explain you all of these roles, what it means in practice. But one thing I wanted you to know that at Ocado you can have leadership club career or individual contributor career, and you can switch between these two career paths. Depending on your preferences, I mean, the moment you learn a bit more, you can decide to shift left and right, and I think it's absolutely fine and transparent for every Ocado employee. Now, what is important? I didn't mention, but I'm in Ocado 6 months only. Yeah? So I was thinking that, okay, so I want to talk. I will be talking about product management at Ocado. So maybe I should ask product managers working in Poland what they are actually doing. So I actually did that, trying to understand, first of all, if what I'm doing, how it kind of compare with other products, and I did it. I reached 32 out of 50 product managers in Poland, which is giving us 64%. I reached product managers both from Krakow and Poland. So it's a bit, the split was rather equal. Now, I use the framework of one of our training company that actually created a list of all product management activities. If you can look on this one, because and you can find what you like, what you not in product management. So you can see when in both what is happening in product management. We are collecting insights, doing different researches. We analyze them. Then we basically define the direction of the product that we are in charge of. We may end up as an outcome of this result to build with the need to build a new product, and we could be potentially involved in selling this product further. So this is basically the list of activities which I ask our product managers are you doing this or not? So additionally to that, because Ocado is in the B2B2C business, which in practice means that you can have products that are being used only by Ocado employees. This is example of my products. I call it internal product. You can have products being used by our retailers' employees. This is what I call here B2B product. And you can have products being used by customers who are using our retailers' platform. So again, pretty good output, because what I wanted to show you by this slide is basically saying that we have all this kind of products here. So depends what you like, what are your preferences. We have all of this at Ocado. And I think for when you are looking for a job for product management, I think it's interesting also to know and think about what kind of product you should be in charge of. Speaking about the output, I generalized them into these 3 colors. So if more than 80% of people said, yes, I'm doing this, I said, okay, that's probably what it means. That's probably something that we could say we are doing this as product managers at Ocado. If there were just few people, like 3, 4, I said, okay, that's probably not too often, maybe worth to clarify. The good example might be pricing activities, because we don't sell our products individually, we sell the whole platform, so only selected product managers are involved in the pricing conversations. Again, I will give you a few seconds so you can have a look. Once again, 60% of Ocado product managers in Poland answered this survey. Now, I also promise you to talk a bit more, okay, because we talk about list of activities, but what does it mean in practice? Yeah? So what I'm doing, going to the office from first coffee to the other. So, as we know, product manager is in charge of I'm maximizing business value, right? But where? There is our team mission is developing machine learning project at Ocado Technology, easy, safe, quick, and it has to be available to everyone. So data scientists and ML ops, they are typically working like that. So they start with the problem definition, they check if the data and if we have a data to fix the problem. They build they run hypotheses, MVPs in this phase, what Pavel was explaining. Then once they found the solution, they productionalize it, run in some online testing operation, and if the model becomes outdated, they start the whole process once again. So myself, I'm finding opportunities for our data scientists, and I'm making sure that they can focus on what we are paying them for. Yeah, so we are building different products that helps data scientists in their work. Now, the day I was making this presentation, this particular slide, it was 11th of September. Don't look on the details, what is exactly written there, it's not important. What I wanted to say is that I agreed with my team that mornings are for coding. What does it mean in practice? That I cannot book, because if I book, my team leader will call me. We agreed that I will be not booking, not spending their time in morning. That's the most effective time for software engineers, and we have agreed that mornings we are coding, which is also very good for me as a product manager, because I have mornings for me. So for this presentation, I happened in the mornings, right? So I was doing this in the morning. It's a time for all this research activities and so on. In the afternoon, this is. You probably noticed that at 3 p.m. we run stand-up, so it's possible to have stand-up at the end of the day with this setup. But basically, afternoons are for the meetings and different strategy conversations. But what I'm doing in the morning, so I read my emails, I do my research around technology. I also pretty active in social media because I want to know what's going on in the organization. So I'm watching all of this video that Ocado Group is posting, and and I'm reading different statistics and different dashboards we have around usage of our products. Of course, I'm not doing this every single day. This very much varies day by day. But when it comes to user feedback, which we have several places at Ocado to collect feedback, this is something which I'm doing pretty often, trying to do it actually every day. Now we have some also modus operandi that we have agreed with my stakeholders. So we present them the roadmap. Then with the teams that we have a dependency, we meet every second week to discuss basically what's going on. Then the roadmap is agreed with my engineers. Then we share it with key stakeholders, and then we communicate this once again. This is very to our stakeholders. This is very specific to my team. It can be different, especially in this microservices world, which I have mentioned, where we have more dependencies to manage. Now, so what does it mean? What I would like you to remember? I would like to remember, first of all, that project management, it's a job, meaning it's a craft. that main responsibility is to finalize the project in given time and budget. So what project manager does when the project is finished, starts another project. That's how it is. So what does it mean being a product owner? Product owner, it's a role that you play in the Scrum, and different people can act as a product owners. So it's basically temporary assignment for the delivery phase when you are responsible to prioritize your backlog. Product management, I hope I demonstrated that it's a craft, especially at Ocado, and it varies between the company, and the main responsibility is to ensuring value and viability. However, in the same time, I also checked the moment doing this presentation. I typed product manager and product owner, and I found that that people are typically also Marty Kagan confirming that organizations, especially those in the transformation, are confusing the roles in the process with the craft. So you can find actually in Poland the same number of product owner jobs and product management jobs. That's it actually from my end, which I presented for you. I hope I help you to understand these three terms. Thank you.